very urgent. Your soulmate finally revealed their decision about you. And their next move could change everything. My beloved child, something has shifted in a way you were never expecting, and this time, your soulmate is no longer standing between uncertainty and action. A decision has finally been made about you. Not a passing thought. Not another moment of wondering. Something inside them has become clearer than it has ever been before, and what they realized has completely changed the way they see this connection. Don't skip, because the most surprising part is not simply what they decided, it is what they are preparing to do because of that decision. For so long, they may have carried feelings they could not fully explain. They replayed memories, imagined conversations, questioned the timing, and wondered whether this connection could become something deeper. But recently, one realization became impossible for them to ignore. No matter how much time passed, their thoughts kept returning to you. And that realization forced them to face a truth they had been avoiding. You are not simply someone they can forget and move beyond. You have become connected to a future they secretly imagine. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the next revelation changes the meaning of everything that came before it. What happened next was even more unexpected. Your soulmate began looking at the little things they once overlooked, the way certain memories of you still bring warmth, the way your presence feels different from everyone else, and the strange sense that something important remains unfinished between you. That is when their decision became clear. They no longer want uncertainty to control what happens next. They want clarity. They want to understand what this connection could become when fear and hesitation are no longer making the choices. But don't skip, because there is another layer to this decision. They have been quietly thinking about their next move, and it is more meaningful than you might expect. Instead of waiting endlessly for the perfect moment, they are beginning to believe that a moment becomes perfect only when someone finally has the courage to make it real. Something huge is waiting for you. They may choose to communicate differently, become more open, or finally reveal something they previously kept hidden. Whatever form their next move takes, one thing has changed completely: they are no longer asking themselves whether you matter. They are asking themselves what they are going to do about how much you matter. And now comes the revelation that could change everything. Their final decision is not about leaving this connection behind, it is about discovering whether the future they keep imagining with you can become real. That is why their next move carries so much emotional weight. They have reached a point where silence no longer gives them the answers they need. Deep inside, they know that continuing exactly as before would leave one question following them: what if I had finally been honest about what this person means to me? Stay till the end, because this story has only opened its first door. The biggest surprise is still ahead. Your soulmate has realized that feelings alone cannot create a new chapter. Eventually, someone must make a choice. And now that choice has been made. They are preparing themselves to stop hiding behind uncertainty and move toward clarity. Don't skip what comes next, because the next part reveals what triggered this sudden change inside them, what they finally understood about you, and why their next move could become the moment that changes the direction of this connection completely. There is something your soulmate has finally understood, and once this realization entered their heart, they could no longer look at you the same way. For a long time, they believed they could simply wait, observe, and allow time to decide what happened between you. But something changed. They began imagining what their future would feel like if they never expressed what was truly inside them, and that thought became impossible to ignore. Suddenly, all those quiet memories started carrying a different meaning. The conversations they remembered, the moments they replayed, and even the smallest details about you began connecting like pieces of a puzzle. Don't skip, because this is where their decision becomes much bigger than you might expect. They realize that what they feel about you has remained present even when they tried focusing on everything else. And instead of questioning why, they finally started accepting what that could mean. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has reached a point where wondering is no longer enough. They want an answer to the question that has quietly followed them for longer than they expected: could you actually be the person with whom they are meant to build something meaningful? But here is the surprising shift: they are no longer thinking only about their own feelings. They have started wondering what you feel, what you may have misunderstood, and whether their hesitation made you believe they cared less than they actually did. That realization changed everything. They understood that silence can sometimes create distance even when two people still care deeply. Now their next move is becoming clearer. They want to replace confusion with honesty. They want their actions to finally match the feelings they have kept inside. Don't skip, because the most important revelation is still coming. Something inside them is saying that another opportunity should not simply pass unnoticed. They know there may never be a perfectly scripted moment, and that is exactly why they are becoming ready to create one themselves. Something huge is waiting for you, because their decision is moving from thought into intention. They may begin showing more effort, becoming more emotionally open, or finding a meaningful way to make their feelings clearer. And underneath all of it is one powerful realization: they do not want you looking back one day believing that you never mattered to them. Now everything leads to one question: what exactly are they preparing to reveal? Stay till the end, because the answer goes deeper than a simple confession. Your soulmate has been reconsidering what they truly want from their future, and somehow, you keep appearing inside that picture. They are beginning to understand that the strongest connections are not built by endlessly waiting for certainty, they are built when two people finally become willing to discover what is possible. That is why their next move could change everything. They are approaching a moment when keeping everything hidden may feel harder than finally expressing it. Don't skip what comes next, because there is still one missing piece behind their sudden decision, something they recently realized about you that made their feelings become clearer than before. And when that final piece falls into place, you will understand why this was never simply about remembering you. It was about realizing that losing the possibility of something meaningful with you could become the one unanswered question they never wanted to carry into their future. Something happened inside your soulmate that they were not prepared for, because the moment they finally imagined you completely moving forward without them, everything suddenly became clear. Until now, they could tell themselves there was more time. More time to understand their feelings, more time to decide what they wanted, more time to wait for the perfect moment. But then one powerful thought changed the entire picture. What if waiting too long meant missing the chance to discover what this connection could truly become? Don't skip, because this is where their decision starts turning into something real. They began remembering the way you made certain moments feel different, the conversations that stayed in their mind longer than expected, and the quiet emotional connection they could never completely explain. Then came the realization they could no longer push aside: you were never simply another chapter they could close without wondering what might have happened next. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Their heart is no longer asking them to keep analyzing everything. It is pushing them toward clarity, and what they are considering now could completely change the direction of this connection. Here is the part they never expected to admit even to themselves. They have been comparing the feeling they have with you to everything else around them, and something keeps standing out. With you, there is a depth they cannot easily replace. There is something unfinished, something meaningful, something that keeps pulling their attention back toward the possibility of you. Don't skip, because their next realization is even bigger. They finally understood that their hesitation may have hidden the truth from you. You may never have seen how often they thought about speaking openly, how many times they imagined a different future, or how close they came to revealing what was really happening inside them. Now they are thinking differently. Instead of asking, "What happens if I make a move?" they are asking, "What happens if I never do?" And that question has completely changed their perspective. Something huge is waiting for you, because for the first time, the possibility of taking a meaningful step toward you feels stronger than the comfort of remaining silent, but the biggest revelation is still ahead, because their decision has created another decision, one involving what they want you to understand when they finally become more open. They do not simply want to appear and leave you guessing again, they want you to recognize that something has genuinely changed. Stay till the end, because what they are preparing emotionally could be the beginning of an entirely different chapter. Your soulmate is starting to understand that meaningful connections require more than feelings hidden beneath the surface, they require intention, consistency, and the willingness to be understood. And this is exactly where their next move becomes powerful. Don't skip what comes next, because there is one truth they have not yet faced completely, and when they finally face it, their entire plan could become clearer. The question is no longer whether you affected their heart. They already know the answer. The question now is how far they are willing to go to show you that this decision about you was not temporary, and what they are preparing to do once they finally stop holding themselves back. Now the entire energy of this story changes, because your soulmate has reached the realization they could no longer avoid. If they truly want something meaningful with you, their actions must finally become stronger than their hesitation. They have spent enough time wondering, replaying possibilities, and imagining what they might say when the right moment arrives. But suddenly, waiting does not feel comfortable anymore. Don't skip, because this is where their next move begins taking shape. They are thinking about how to approach you in a way that feels genuine, clear, and completely different from anything you may have expected before. They do not want another half-finished moment filled with unanswered questions. They want you to understand that their decision came after thinking deeply about what you mean to them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The surprising truth is that they are no longer trying to decide whether this connection deserves another chapter. Deep inside, that decision has already been made. What they are deciding now is how to open that chapter without repeating the same uncertainty that kept everything standing still. And here is what makes this moment so important. Your soulmate has begun understanding that a powerful connection cannot survive forever on unspoken feelings alone. At some point, intention has to become visible. That realization is pushing them toward a completely different version of themselves, one that is more willing to communicate, more willing to show effort, and more willing to discover the truth instead of endlessly imagining it. Don't skip, because their biggest internal shift is happening right here. They are starting to understand that reaching toward you is not about creating a perfect dramatic moment, it is about finally becoming sincere enough to let you see what has been hidden behind their silence. Something huge is waiting for you. They want their next move to answer questions their previous behavior may have created. They want clarity where there was confusion, warmth where there was distance, and intention where there was hesitation. And the more they think about it, the more one thought keeps returning: if you truly matter this much, then you deserve to see that through actions rather than having to guess it. But there is still one final layer they have not revealed, and it may be the most surprising part of their decision. Stay till the end, because your soulmate is not simply preparing to tell you how they feel, they are thinking about what could happen after those feelings are finally understood. For the first time, they are looking beyond one conversation and imagining what consistency, trust, and a genuine future could actually look like. Don't skip what comes next, because something has shifted from "maybe someday" into "what if the time is finally coming." They know they cannot control every outcome, but they can control whether they continue hiding behind uncertainty. And that is why their next move could change everything. The decision about you has already transformed the way they see this connection. Now they are preparing to let that transformation influence what they do next. Something huge is waiting for you, because the next revelation is about the future they have quietly started imagining, and the one place inside that future where you keep appearing, no matter how many times they try to picture it differently. The future they have quietly imagined is beginning to feel more real than they expected, and this is exactly where everything becomes deeper. Your soulmate has started thinking beyond one conversation, one emotional moment, or one simple expression of feelings. They are imagining what it would actually mean to have you consistently present in their life. Don't skip, because this is the realization that surprised even them. When they picture meaningful moments ahead, your presence keeps appearing naturally, not because they are forcing the thought, but because somewhere inside them, you have become connected to the kind of emotional future they want to experience. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They have realized that their decision about you was not created by one sudden emotion. It was built slowly through every memory they could not forget, every unanswered question that kept returning, and every moment when they wondered why this connection still felt unfinished. Now those pieces are forming one powerful truth. They want to know what happens when they stop resisting the possibility of something real with you, and then came another surprising realization. Your soulmate understood that the next move cannot simply be about getting your attention, it has to show you that something inside them has genuinely changed. Don't skip, because this is where their intention becomes stronger. They are beginning to think about consistency instead of temporary emotion, honesty instead of guessing, and genuine effort instead of waiting for circumstances to do everything for them. They know that words can create a beautiful moment, but actions are what give those words meaning afterward. Something huge is waiting for you, because this may be the biggest difference between who they were before and who they are becoming now. They do not want to approach you only to return to uncertainty again. They want to understand whether the two of you can create something that feels steady, mutual, and meaningful. Stay till the end, because there is one question becoming louder inside them every day: what if this connection has remained in my heart because I was supposed to finally understand its value? And once they asked themselves that question, their entire perspective began changing. But what they realized next may be the turning point of everything. They understood that they cannot predict your response, and strangely, that no longer feels like a reason to remain silent. Don't skip, because this is where their courage begins replacing their hesitation. They would rather discover the truth than spend endless time wondering what might have happened if they had simply been more open. That is why their next move could arrive with an emotional honesty you were not expecting. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They are preparing themselves for a moment when the distance between thought and action finally disappears. And when that happens, you may notice something different immediately, not just in what they express, but in how intentionally they show up. The biggest revelation is still ahead, because your soulmate has made one private promise to themselves about you, and that promise explains why they are becoming so determined to stop repeating the past. What they decided could completely redefine what happens next, because this time, they do not want their story with you to be remembered as something that almost happened. A quiet promise has now become the strongest part of your soulmate's decision. They do not want hesitation to write the ending of a connection that still feels meaningful to them. Something inside them has become remarkably clear. They have realized that there is a difference between patiently allowing something to unfold and endlessly waiting because taking the next step feels uncertain. Don't skip, because they finally know which one they have been doing. Every time they postponed honesty, another question remained unanswered. Every time they convinced themselves that there would always be another opportunity, the possibility of losing that opportunity became more real. And now they have made a private promise, to stop letting uncertainty make every decision for them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. This does not mean they suddenly know exactly how everything will unfold. It means they have accepted something much more important. They would rather approach this connection sincerely than spend the future wondering what could have happened. That realization has created a new kind of determination inside them, and their next move is beginning to feel less like a distant possibility and more like a choice they are preparing to make. Then another thought entered their mind, and this one changed the meaning of everything. What if you have been waiting for clarity too? What if some of the questions keeping them awake have also crossed your mind? Don't skip, because this possibility made them reconsider every moment when they could have communicated more clearly but chose silence instead. They started wondering whether you ever interpreted their hesitation as a lack of feeling, when the truth was almost the opposite. They were thinking so deeply that they became uncertain about how to express it. Now they understand that you should not have to decode every small sign or search for meaning inside every quiet moment. Something huge is waiting for you, because their next move is increasingly centered around one thing: clarity. They want whatever happens next to feel different from what came before. Stay till the end, because they have also realized that a meaningful future cannot be built entirely inside imagination. Eventually, two people have to discover what is actually possible. And your soulmate is becoming ready to stop imagining every possible outcome and finally allow reality to answer the questions they have carried for so long. But there is one revelation still hidden beneath all of this, and it explains why their determination suddenly became so powerful. Don't skip, because recently they recognized something about you that made the idea of continuing exactly as before feel impossible. They realized that what draws them toward you is not simply one memory, one quality, or one emotional moment. It is the way they feel when they imagine being completely understood by you. That possibility has become difficult to ignore. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is beginning to see that the next chapter cannot be created by repeating the old one. If they want a different outcome, they must bring different energy, greater honesty, stronger consistency, and clearer intention. And that is exactly what their private promise is about. They have decided that if they take this next step, they want it to mean something. No disappearing behind uncertainty. No pretending that the connection means less than it does. The biggest shift has already happened inside them. Now only one question remains: what will finally push them from preparation into action? The answer is closer than you think, because one final realization is about to make their next move feel almost impossible to postpone. Everything has been leading toward this moment, because your soulmate has finally reached the point where thinking about their next move is no longer enough. The realization that changed them was surprisingly simple: there may never be a perfect moment unless they are willing to create one. That thought removed one of the biggest reasons they kept waiting. Don't skip, because what happens inside them now is completely different from the hesitation they carried before. They are no longer searching for endless signs or rehearsing every possible outcome. They are asking themselves what they genuinely want, and the answer keeps bringing them back to you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has understood that their decision means nothing if they never allow you to see it through their actions. That is why their next move is becoming more intentional. They want to close the distance between what they feel and what they actually show. And the once-in-a-lifetime realization is this: sometimes the person who changes your future is not someone new entering your life, but someone whose importance you finally stop denying. What makes this even more surprising is that they are no longer imagining only the first step. They are thinking about everything that could come afterward: deeper conversations, clearer intentions, stronger trust, and the possibility of building something neither of you could fully see before. Don't skip, because this is where their decision becomes bigger than a temporary emotional moment. They do not want to return with beautiful words and then fall back into the same uncertainty. They want their behavior to reveal the change before they ever have to explain it. Something huge is waiting for you. You may notice greater consistency, more openness, or a willingness to finally address what has remained unspoken. And beneath all of this is one powerful thought: they do not want the possibility of you to become a memory simply because they waited too long to discover the truth. Stay till the end, because your soulmate is finally understanding that courage does not mean knowing exactly how the story ends. Sometimes courage simply means being willing to begin the conversation that could change the story, and now comes the revelation everything has been building toward: their decision about you is ultimately a decision to stop running from clarity. Don't skip, because this changes the meaning of their next move completely. They are not preparing to control the future, they are preparing to finally meet it honestly. They want to discover whether the connection they have carried so strongly inside can become something genuine in the real world. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate knows that whatever comes next must be built through mutual understanding, real effort, and choices made by both of you. But they have decided they no longer want their own hesitation to be the reason the possibility remains unexplored. The silence that once felt easier now feels incomplete. The questions that once seemed safer than answers now feel impossible to carry forever. And the future they once imagined from a distance suddenly feels close enough to reach toward. Their next move could change everything. Not because one moment magically decides an entire future, but because one sincere step can finally open the door.